Hey there, folks. Welcome to Whisper 404. If you're ready, let's jump into tonight's true horror story, straight from someone who lived it. My name's Jaffer. I live in Karamshar, and I'm 30 years old. I've been working for as long as I can remember. Never liked being jobless, not even for a day. I'd rather sell stuff on the street than sit around at home doing nothing. But sometimes, even street vending's not an option. I used to work at a racetrack for years, then did some private driving lessons. Man, I've always loved cars, still do. Even though, these days, life doesn't really feel like it means much. Maybe a lot of folks feel the same, huh? But the story I'm about to tell you, it's darker than any nightmare you've ever had. So yeah, be grateful for what you have, and hear me out. I just lost my job, was feeling down, and then, out of nowhere, my uncle happened to stop by the house. We started talking. He asked, "So Jaffer, were you working these days?" I told him I was at the post office for about a year, but it's been a month now. I'm unemployed. He looked at me and said, "Want to work somewhere if I hook you up?" I jumped like a spring, grinned ear to ear, and said, "Man, I'll go to hell and back if it's a paying job." He chuckled and said, "All right, don't have a heart attack now, or I'll be stuck taking care of you. Wait for my call," he said. Then he added, "It's a driving job, something with cars." Man, I was so hyped I could barely sit still. He left, and I just waited, restless, excited. 2 days later, he called me back. He said he'd talked to someone at one of the hospitals in Karamshar, and just like he said, it was a driving gig, except it was driving dead people. I'd officially become a hearse driver. At first, I was only handling the ones who were cases, like suicides, murders, weird deaths, the kind where the cops get involved. Some of the bodies were kept at this morgue outside the city, right next to the municipal cemetery. Those were the ones with no family. Homeless folks, junkies, you know the type. I was constantly driving back and forth between the hospital, the forensics office, and that remote morgue. And after a few months, I just got numb. Didn't even care who was lying in the back of the van anymore. But it hadn't started out that way. Back in the beginning, it was hard, real hard. I remember showing up to one scene and seeing this guy who'd hung himself. Man, I couldn't sleep for days. I kept wondering, what was going through his head when he did it? Did he regret it at the last second? But life, or maybe fate, did something to me. It messed me up so bad that I stopped asking those kinds of questions. Then came the black night, the one that changed everything. The night I came face to face with the devil himself. It was around 2 a.m. when the phone rang in our office. And we all knew that late, it's never good news. Someone had either killed themselves or been killed. My coworker picked up the phone, hung up a moment later, and said, "It's a no-family case. Let's go pick it up." And let me tell you, even after all that time, I still hated those kinds of calls. The ones with no names, no loved ones. Especially at night. Because when it was a no-family case, we had to take the body outside the city. To the municipal morgue. Not the official one near the hospital. That place creeped me out. They even did autopsies out there. Anyway, we got in a van and drove out to the address. It was in the middle of some village, deep in a palm grove. When we got there, police and forensics were already on the scene. I hopped out, just wanted to get the job done and go. But the second I laid eyes on the body, it was like I got hit with an electric shock. I froze, started trembling all over. My coworker laughed and said, "What's wrong? You gonna start dancing or what?" I snapped at him. "Cut it out, man. Not the time." He grinned and said, "Why are you so jumpy? It's just the lack of sleep. You'll get used to it." They gave us the all clear, and we went to load the body, an old man, onto the stretcher. But the way he was staring, even though he was dead, it was like he was looking straight at us. They said he died of heart failure, scared to death, basically. His eyes were still open. And trust me, dead people don't look like they do in the movies. Especially not after a few hours. The second we lifted him up, this awful smell hit us. Like something rotten, but also off. I asked one of the plainclothes cops nearby, "How long has he been dead?" He said, "Not even 5 hours." I looked at him confused. Only 5 hours? Why is he already reeking like that? He pointed at the ground. There was a sack next to him, full of rotten scraps and animal trash. You probably stepped on it. Maybe that's what triggered the stink. As soon as he said that, I started thinking, was that electric jolt I felt because I stepped on that sack? While I was lost in thought, my buddy, cool as ever, said, "Come on, Jaffer. Let's go already. I'm missing my nap time at the office." We tossed the body into the back and headed out toward the cemetery. And the second we hit that road, I swear, something shifted in the air. As soon as we turned onto the cemetery road, I felt it. The air got heavy, like something was pushing down on my chest. I figured maybe it was just nerves from the creepy scene back at the Grove, but then my coworker rubbed his temples and said, "Jaffer, let's just drop this guy and get out of here. I don't feel so good." I looked in the rearview mirror, and I swear I saw a shadow move in the back. I blinked gone, didn't say anything, just focused on the road. We finally got there and handed the body over. I ran back to the van, just wanted to drive and get the hell out of there. But the ambulance wouldn't start. No matter how many times I turned the key, nothing. My coworker goes, "Dude, call roadside assistance. We're stuck." Problem was no signal. So I went inside and begged the night guard to let me use the landline. He called the tow company and gave them the address. I wanted to stay inside. The building felt safer, but even in there, the air was thick like being buried alive. So I stepped back outside. We'd parked the van in a big, open courtyard. My coworker was leaning against it, looking spooked. I asked, "What's wrong now?" He said, "Man, I swear, it feels like someone's inside the van." I tried to laugh it off. I was scared too, but didn't want to show it. "Come on," I told him. "The body's in the freezer now. He's chilling. Ain't nobody left in there." Just then, thump, a loud clank came from the back of the van, like someone had stomped hard on the floor. My poor coworker, who was leaning against the tire, jumped like a cat in water. We both freaked out, but there was nowhere to run. Took us a while, but we finally worked up the nerve to check. I must have whispered Bismillah 100 times on the way to the back. I flung the door open. Empty. The cabin was totally empty. My heart was pounding so loud I couldn't hear anything else. We shut everything up and were about to head back inside when the guard shouted, "I'm leaving." Locked the doors after me. And with that, he was gone. Just left us there. Alone. We waited until 6 a.m. before roadside finally showed up. Guy looked at me and joked, "Good thing I'm not a firefighter. You'd be toast." I fake laughed and told him, "You took long enough." By 8 a.m., I finally got home, completely drained. I collapsed on my bed like the old man in the Grove. But the second I closed my eyes, the nightmare started. I saw that same old man again. He was staring at me, whispering, "You made a mistake." I woke up choking, couldn't breathe. The room was dark. I checked my phone, 5 p.m. already. I was still alone in the room, lying there, thinking about the night before. Then suddenly, something moved across my hand. Something hairy. I shot up. A black cat, just sitting there in my room, staring at me. No idea where it came from. I freaked and ran to call my dad and brother. They came rushing in, but by then, the cat was gone. My brother laughed and said, "Let's hope that cat was halal fed." I snapped, "Don't mess around, I saw it." My dad tried to calm me down. "Son, maybe your brother didn't mean anything bad. Just teasing." Then they both laughed it off. I stayed quiet. That night, I went back to work. About an hour into my shift, I craved to smoke. But smoking's banned in the hospital. The head of the hospital and my uncle smoked too, but only outside in a private spot behind the office. There's 2 containers parked out there with a wall in front, nice and hidden. I went out there, lit my cigarette, and felt like someone was watching me. I looked up. There's a man standing on the wall. I couldn't see much of him, just the shape. Human-like, but weird. I yelled up, "What the hell you doing up there?" No answer, just staring. The wall was 4 meters high. Smooth as hell, nothing to climb on. Even a cat couldn't scale it. I shouted again, "Get down, or I'm calling security." Didn't know it then, but I was yelling at the devil. As I turned to leave, something slammed me against the container. Everything went black. Next thing I knew, I woke up hours later, back aching, shoulder burning. No one had come looking for me. My nose was busted, face swollen. Dragged myself to the office. Coworkers freaked out when they saw me. Took me straight to the ER. Later, the head nurse came to check on me. "Jaffer, what happened? Who did this to you?" Now, imagine if I told the truth, that I saw something not human, and it attacked me. Even my own family hadn't believed me about the black cat in the room. You think strangers would? So I thought fast and lied. There was a cat on the wall. I tried to scare it off. I slipped and fell. She smirked, totally didn't buy it, then walked off. I got a few days off work. Daytime was fine, but as soon as the sun went down, the nightmare started. It was like something sat next to my bed every night, pinching me. Hard. I'd scream, but no one was ever there. And when I finally shut my eyes, the dreams came, each one worse than the last. Things got so bad that even my dad and brother started believing me. They began seeing shadows too, in the yard and the house. One time, my dad was in the middle of prayer. He suddenly started sweating, trembling. Afterwards, we asked what happened. He said, "Someone kept interrupting my prayer. I couldn't finish a single verse." That's when my brother said enough is enough. He started looking for help. One day he told me, "I found someone, a spiritual healer. We're going to another town tomorrow." For the first time, I felt a bit of hope. But the next morning, my phone rang. It was his friend, and what he said shattered my whole world. My brother had died in a car crash. Tire blew out. He wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Died on the spot. He was all I had. Losing him broke me. I started going to the cemetery every night, sitting by his grave, crying. Try to feel close to him. But one night, while I was there, I heard something. A laugh. A dark, cold laugh that rattled my bones. Then that smell. That same disgusting smell from the palm grove when we picked up the old man. And then I saw it. A tall, dark figure, nearly 10 feet high, standing over my brother's grave. I thought it was the angel of death. But no, this thing was worse that I couldn't see much except its teeth, long, golden, razor-sharp teeth. It growled, "You belong to me now. There's no way out." Blood trickled down my face. I was nosebleeding, and it wasn't from fear anymore. Everything went black. I woke up later. Some guy was standing over me, tapping my shoulder. "You okay, man?" I didn't say a word, just ran straight to the car, drove home. My parents were terrified, kept asking questions, but I had no answers. Night after night, it got worse. Sometimes it felt like someone was slapping me in the dark, like a wet whip hitting my face. Eventually, I gave in. Started doing whatever the thing asked just to make it stop. But the beatings never stopped. Then, one early morning, I'd had enough. I did ablution and prayed, cried, begged God for help. That same day, my dad had a mild stroke. Thank God we saved him. And then Ramadan started. During that month, the thing kind of faded, like it lost its grip. So I decided it was time to find that same healer, the one my brother had found. He didn't live in Karamshar, so my dad and I drove to his town. When we got to the house, a young woman opened the door. I asked, "Is this Hajj Aga Godrat's place?" She said, "Yes, but he won't be back for 2 more days." I felt crushed, like I could cry right then and there. She saw it, told us to wait. About 10 minutes later, an older woman came out and invited us in. I said no, but then she said, "I called him. He said keep them there until I arrive." Hearing that, my dad smiled for the first time in a long time. We went inside. They treated us well, even gave us a room to rest. And let me tell you, that night was the first peaceful sleep I'd had in months. A few hours later, I woke up. There he was, Hajj Aga Godrat himself. Tall, strong, calm. He didn't ask for details. Just said, "You'll stay here for a few days." And honestly, that was the best thing I'd heard in my life. We stayed 11 days. He helped me. Whatever was inside me, he pulled it out. We offered him money. He refused. When we got home, life slowly returned to normal. But one night, I went to my brother's grave again. No one was around. It was past midnight, and from his grave, I heard a voice. "This is the price for locking me away." Before I could react, BM, something hit me hard in the back. Since that night, my right leg and lower back have never been the same. Maybe you're thinking this was all my fault. And yeah, maybe going to the grave at night was a mistake. But the rest, I swear, it could have happened to anyone. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. If you like the story, please like and share the video. It helps Whisper 404 reach more people. And just remember, though evil walks with silent steps, and darkness hides in friendly eyes, be still and strong, and guard your soul, for demons come in good disguise. Stay safe out there. Whisper 404 out.